Well, I know this is probably going to lead to a lot of hate, but Poppy's new album Zig comes out on October 27th, and I'm not really that excited for it.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
I mean, her last two releases, album-wise, which were I Disagree and Flux, were just so... like, the things she was doing, it was intriguing to hear considering how she started out, with her albums Poppy.Computer and Am I a Girl being a little bit more pop-leaning. But with this new album, the singles that we're hearing, it just doesn't feel like anything spectacular. I'm not saying these songs are bad. I mean, the production's been good, the choruses to the singles have been catchy as hell, but for whatever reason I just feel like there's something missing when it comes to Poppy and what we've grown to know from her over the years. I mean, she's still doing the whole, you know, character thing, but at the same point in time she's more open because, you know, she's, you know, doing this pretty much by herself now. This is her project and she can take it whatever direction she pleases. But her new single Motorbike just came out, and I don't know how you can get progressively worse than the last single, but here we are. I mean, of the three singles that released, that being Church Outfit, Knockoff, and Motorbike, Motorbike has to be the worst of the three. And again, this isn't me calling the song bad, but, you know, Church Outfit was just kind of like, it is what it is, it's fine. And then when you get to Knockoff, it's like, okay, this seems like it could be a real highlight on the album. But Motorbike, to me, just kind of sounds like it could be filler. And this album only has 11 songs, falls in the 29-minute mark, so when it sounds like it's already filler to an album this short, that can be a major problem. Plus, too, I'm getting just kind of tired of getting these short songs where it's not until the middle of the song when I start getting into it that the song just kind of ends abruptly after that. Like, the songs that she has, a lot of the time they'll start off a little bit slow where you're not too sure about them, and then it's not till after the first time the chorus is sang where you're like, you know what, I'm feeling this, but at that point in time, there's only a minute left, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of substance going around here, and that's kind of been the trend with her recently. I mean, what I liked about her last album, Flux, was that, yeah, I mean, it's 9 tracks, so maybe she did this intentionally, but there was other songs on there that went past the 3.5, 4-minute, and even 5-minute mark, so it just felt more, I don't even want to use the word cohesive, but she still gave us a lot more with less at this point. But now, this album has 2 more songs than the last one, and we're getting under 30 minutes of content. Like, that just doesn't seem, to me, like she even tried. Again, I'm not knocking on her, I'm just saying that with these songs and singles so far, they've just been the least intrigued I've been with her songs recently. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's like, oh, these are strictly pop and not rock and metal. I think the surprise of her going rock and metal was just for the fact of how she started, and then once we all sort of got used to it, it was like, yeah, okay, you know, she's doing pop, she's doing rock, she's doing metal, she's mixing it together. It's just, she was able to make songs that could go in different directions and sound interesting, but with these songs, they're just maybe a little bit too simplistic. I mean, the beats there almost kind of are just reminiscent of each other. And it just seems very, very safe, which with her, I would have never have thought we would have got here, because, you know, I mean, as much as people say, well, what about I Disagree and Flux? Those had some pretty safe songs on them. But the thing was, she experimented a lot more on those songs and on those albums, whereas this one, it's gonna have its set sound, I get it, but with these songs, when they all start to kind of blend together in one way or another, then it's like, how interesting can it be? But we're still a little bit more than a month away from this record coming out, so I'm gonna hold my judgment, because most of the time I tell myself and I tell everybody else, let's not judge how a whole album is going to sound from 3 singles. Even though this recent single may not be my thing, and even the other 2 singles that have come out, even though I like them, they may not be, you know, what I would say would be my favorite Poppy songs, they're still potential here for this to be something good, because again, she's doing something different. She's not giving us the same thing from the last record, and I think that's why I tend to gravitate toward her albums more, is because I want to see what she's going to do next, because she doesn't give you the same thing twice in a row. And most artists nowadays, I mean, that's kind of the thing they do, but when an artist finds a formula, they tend to stick with it, i.e. Nickelback and Imagine Dragons and all that. But with her, it's just sky is the limit, and she has the right to do whatever she wants with her music. But at the same point in time, if I don't like it, then I'm gonna say I don't like it. I don't want to be one of those people that says, oh, I like her as an artist, so everything she puts out is gold. Like, no, I'm not one of those fans. I did it with Blink-182 back in 2019. I did not like the singles to their album 9, but the album as a whole, when you look at the deep cuts that came off of it, were actually pretty solid. But that doesn't mean, really didn't change my mind on the singles, still didn't like them, but the album overall was made better because those singles were just kind of, I guess, strictly made for the promotion of the record, whereas the other songs you can be like, yeah, that's definitely what I expect from Blink-182 and maybe even a little bit more. With Poppy, I think this is how it's going to be, because when you listen to, you know, an album like I Disagree or Flux, there's always those songs that kind of, you know, catch you off guard in a good way. On I Disagree, she has Bite Your Own Teeth, which is like a metalcore, new metal-y type song. And on Flux, when you get to Lessen the Damage, which is track 2, you get more of a punk-leaning track on an album that really has nothing else that sounds like that. The last time she was really cohesive with one single sound on a record would maybe have to be Am I a Girl, but at the same point in time, that had the 2 rock songs toward the end. But I guess you can say her Eat EP was strictly metal for the sheer fact that it was supposed to be all heavy and up in your face and whatnot. So all in all, again, I'm not saying the album's gonna suck because of it, because there's a lot of good things going on with these songs. Like I said, at least the production sounds like it's going to be nice, but in the end, I just don't know if this will be a great follow-up to the previous 3 records that she has released that, you know, I actually really, really like. Albums where she took risks. The way the Poppy persona was going at the time and the person who was controlling the character, you would have never thought that she would go from bubblegum pop to, you know, this new metal EP later down the line. It would never have crossed anybody's mind that an internet personality like that would just become one of the biggest rock stars of her generation. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. Not saying she isn't or what, it's just when you look at the plays compared to other new artists, she doesn't really come close, but she has some hit songs that people do tend to gravitate towards. So I guess we'll see October 27th. If, you know, my suspicions with this album are valid, or maybe they're just invalid and I'm overreacting a little bit. But yeah, there's just things that are worrying me about this project, but at the same point in time, I don't want to make it out like this is going to be the entire record, because there's still 8 songs out there from this thing that we have not heard yet. And until those 8 songs come out, which will probably be on the album release date, then I will say nothing more about this album and how I feel about it so far, because that is unfair until the whole thing is out there to the world. So, and I pre-ordered the album, so kind of sounding hypocritical, but, you know, at the same point in time, I'm just a Poppy fan, so I'm still thinking I'm gonna like the majority of this album enough to where I'm gonna want to have a physical copy. You can tell me in the comments below, what do you think? You know, with Poppy, like, what era of hers are you more a fan of? And do you like the direction she's going now? Or is there just something about it that seems off? Because I think that's just mainly my problem right now, is there's something off, but I can't seem to put my finger on it, and it's just really bothering me. Another thing I realized too is she's, you know, showing off her natural black hair a lot while also wearing the blonde wig, almost like she's turned Poppy into 2 different personalities in a way, which I think is cool. That change is kind of, you know, something that adds to the character. So maybe that's where we're going, is maybe a song like Motorbike is more for like, oh yeah, it's the black-haired Poppy, you know, this is more Mariah, where a song like Knock Off in Church Outfit, where she's got the blonde wig on, is more of like, this is like the AI bot Poppy in a way. It seems like an interesting concept when you look at it that way. I don't know if that's been done intentional. It seems to be, but I've noticed that too, as she's, you know, using her natural hair and the blonde wig and seemingly splitting this character up into two different personalities. But yeah, that's it for me. Stay safe out there, and until then, I will catch you all in the next one.
So tell me, can I ride with you?
What? No, dude!